Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous, joined today by Kadoink, bringing you some action from the Forum Showcase Match Series thingy. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have Jazzman as the dark green Terran, and up here in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, Dirty Peasant, spawning in as the purple Protoss. Did I say Dirty Peasant again?
I don't know. I was freaking out because I didn't hit play.
Oh, of
Uh,
course.
yeah, I hit F9 because I thought I was frapsing, and then I hit play, and then I realized I was on normal speed and not faster.
Oh,
So I'm
God.
at the 43-second mark. Where are you
Alright,
at?
we're even. I'm at like 47
Okay.
right now.
Good deal.
Okay, sweet. Well, that was an
Um,
awkward start.
yeah, no, we have to have an awkward start.
Of
It's like our
course,
trademark.
it wouldn't be one of our commentaries if we didn't have an awkward start.
Yeah,
Just like it wouldn't be one of our games if I didn't rush battle cruisers.
that's true, and I didn't go Roach, even though I played Terran.
Man, we should record some of those 2v2s.
Yeah, actually, you should,
All right.
because they're a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun. Alright, well, anyway, it would appear that we have both of our players just going for amazingly standard builds at this point, although, you know, there's not really a lot of deviation in the first 2 minutes of a TVP, unless there's like an absurdly fast refinery for a Banshee Rush or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and both players are doing the usual thing. We got Dirty Peasant getting up his gas at the usual time. I always think gas placement is kind of interesting. I think it's weird that he took the far one rather than the close one. I don't know. I don't know why I noticed that and why I thought it's weird.
I mean, that's a little weird just because, I don't know, from a psychological standpoint, I always take the close one, but
Yeah, if you think about it, it's like half a second a bit later.
yeah.
Well, unless he sent the probe from his Nexus, in which case it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Dirty Peasant, you gotta min-max more, let's be honest
Yeah.
here. You don't
Be
get into
optimal.
Masters without optimism.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a fool, but without being optimal in your builds.
Yeah.
Not optimism. Although optimism, it does work out well.
Yeah, being optimistic is really good. I'm pretty optimistic as a person.
Yeah,
Looks like Jazzman's going to be taking an expansion on the low ground. Balls of steel right there. Actually, it's not really that risky anymore as long as you put a bunker up in the front. You'll be completely fine.
yeah. I mean, a 17 expand as Terran is still a little bit on the risky side because there are a lot of pressure builds from Protoss that can kind of exploit that.
That's true. But
However,
what
it
you want to
doesn't
do
look like
is...
Dirty Present's going for any of them. God damn it.
What?
I said Dirty Present again.
Yeah. What you want to do is make sure you have control of this watchtower. And then you also want a marine or something down in this little ridge at the very, very bottom of the map. And then you should put one kind of near where your fourth is going to be up the ramp. And you can see any probe that comes by in that scenario. And then you can use the rest of your army to scout in that area and make sure there are no hidden probes. And once you've done that, you can kind of see if the timing is going to come, and you can pull your SCVs with enough time and start up some bunkers to
Yeah.
kind of deal with a lot of those builds. So even though the
And it
17...
looks like Dirty Peasant is going to be going for a little bit of aggressiveness on the front of a Jazzman. Jazzman with reasonable mic. Never mind, it wasn't the best mic around the world. He's going to lose 2 Marines, but the third one is going to be able to get into the bunker, which should be able to hold off this attack, because it's very hard to take out a bunker as Protoss. Sorry for cutting you off, Kadoink, but you know.
Oh, that's completely fine. This bunker is just what I was talking about. Had that bunker not been there, he would have lost 3 Marines. He would have lost his fourth that's coming out and going into the bunker. And then he probably would have lost his 2 SCVs on the low ground, which is annoying. It wouldn't have ended the game, but
Yeah.
the bunker really saves a lot.
Yeah, especially because you can kind of just build it for nigh free.
Yeah.
It's what, 25 minerals if you salvage? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really useful. In fact, he put his bunker down a little bit late because he got that orbital command at, like, I think he said 17, and you really want your bunker at about 18. So
Yeah. You probably want
usually
to
it'll be
before that's
done.
even finished.
Yeah, you can get your bunker before the first zealot can get there if you're pretty optimal on your timings.
Alright, well, it looks like Dirty Peasant went for a 1-gate robo, and now he's moving up to 3 gateways. We have the first observer cranking out, so he will get some nice scouting action. He does currently have just 1 sentry, basically, and that's his entire unit composition. The SCV being extremely sneaky, snuck around the Nexus and then went up until the main base without getting seen by the sentry. So it's going to get a full scout out off on the Protoss base. We see him having a second assimilator, but not yet mining from it, which is on the interesting side.
Yeah, I think that assimilator, as well as the assimilator at the third and the robo, is a big tell that he's going to be going for Colossus.
Yeah.
And the Terran player should know that. If you see a robo bay, there's a few things. Either your opponent thinks you're going to go Cloak Banshee, which is, not very likely, or he's going to be going Colossi. There's not really a good reason to go Immortals against the Terran player unless he's building tanks. So it's definitely going to be Colossus play, and I think Jazzman knows that. He's got his factory going up, and I think he's going to start working on getting his Vikings.
Yeah, and we do see +1 attacks going down for the Terran player at this point. There's actually not even a forge dropped, but the robotics facility has gone down at the main base for Dirty Peasant, so there's definitely going to be Colossus on the way. We have Jazzman with kind of an interesting supply depot wall down at the front.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's nice. You just have to make sure that when an engagement happens at this base, that you just go into your main and plop down a few supply depots, so that when those get destroyed, you can.
Yeah.
If they get destroyed, then you can continue to reinforce your army and make sure you don't get killed. But it's actually really nice against zealots.
Yeah, we do see Dirty Peasant actually going for quite a few zealots, but we haven't yet to see a Twilight Council get dropped down, so there is not going to be charge for quite a while at least. The first Colossus is coming out. There is no Colossus range quite yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him start cranking that out at basically any moment, as soon as he hits 200 minerals. But instead he's going to opt for a couple more Zealot and Sentry Warp-ins. So,
Yeah.
he has a pretty strong gateway ball, but I really don't know how effective Zealots are going to be against a massive clump of Marines. I mean, they can be good meat shields for the Colossus, but without charge, they're kind of just slow and bad.
Yeah, really, really bad, actually. Zealots are super good late game, like almost too good. It's really hard to beat Mass Zealot in the late game as Terran, but in the early game, Zealots are really bad, considering that Concussive Shell can slow them down, and then the high DPS of Marines will just chew them up real quick. So I kind of favor waiting till later in the game to get the Zealots, and just having a bulky, strong army to protect your Colossi. One thing I want to make note is Dirty Peasant's building placement is, I think, very kind of odd. There are only like 4 pylons powering up all his buildings, and they're very openly spaced to where if Jazzman were going to drop or something, he could just run his units through there no problem, and there's no kind of like bottlenecks or anything to stop him up. And I don't know, I'm very displeased with with his base. I keep looking at it.
It definitely looks like a Picasso painting.
Yeah, it kind of does.
We have double forge going down for Dirty Peasant at this point, along with going up to 5 gateways. And even though these pylons are kind of like weirdly and clunkily spaced out, every building has 2 pylons powering it, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The only thing that might not have 2 is that robotics facility, but I think the one near the Nexus reaches it well enough. Reaches out to like there. I have.
Oh. We have the Terran player moving forward at this time. He's taking control of the Watchtower with some medevacs. Not quite getting the Vikings in his army, but he is producing them. And so what he can actually just do is what he's doing now. Lift up into his medevacs and just kind of negate the Colossi by attacking in multiple locations and really splitting up the Dirty Peasant's army. That's one of the big flaws with Zealots.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be dropping into the natural, but that is going to get picked off quite fast. However, the full drop goes down into the main base, and it looks like it's going to manage to kill off quite a few probes, which is pretty reasonable. We are going to see one of the pylons go down, and of course that robotics facility is still going to count. The second pylon is going to go down, which will stop that robotics facility, which is nice enough. He should be sniping off the robotics facility, and in fact he does, and now he can kind of just pick up and leave, because there's basically no ranged units in this entire army.
Yeah, that was a super effective drop. He killed 11 workers in total. And he saved the majority of his army. The drop in the natural was a little excessive. He could have done with just one medevac.
And definitely picking up like as soon as the entire army swung in.
Yeah, but at the same time, he killed that robotics facility, and so there's no more Colossi in the field. And in fact, if you look at the Protoss' base, there's not any tech at all. He's just building pylons, and he does have the double forge and the robotics bay, but the robotics bay is useless now, and he isn't producing anything out of the forges. So Terran player definitely in the favorable position here, especially considering he has his third base up, he's muling, he's sending SCVs down there, and he's even got his +2 attack and +1 air attack going up. So Terran player in a very, very favorable position.
Yeah, and Dirty Peasant, I don't know if this is a mess up because I think it is. He's actually not building robotics facility right now, which, or it's just not good because you kind of need those Colossus numbers if you tech so heavily and so quickly into Colossus. He basically only has 3. Now, of course, all
Yeah.
3 have range, but that doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, 3 Colossi is actually very good, but that's all considering that you have more behind him, you
Yeah,
know. And
more
in all this
incoming.
time, the Terran player is about to get +1 air attack. He's getting up his Vikings, 2 at a time. He's going to have 5 when this engagement goes down. That's going to be very good for him.
Yeah, and +2/+2 is on the way for the Terran player. It's not quite going to be done for this engagement, but neither is +1/+1 for the Protoss army. And we see a very awkward positioning go down with all the Colossus basically right in the front. So they kind of get chewed up. The force fields are doing a little bit more damage to the Protoss army than they are to the Terran army. I mean, they're kind of annoying for the Terrans, but with such a zealot heavy composition, you really should not be dropping force fields like that. Just not at all. Because the Vikings are just going to be able to easily pick off the Colossus.
Yeah, and we see the Terran army chasing down these sentries and zealots. It looks like they will probably be able to pick off that last zealot. Maybe not. But
Yeah,
regardless,
I mean,
the Protoss army is dead, and the Terran player is just going to go in and steamroll him.
yeah, the Protoss player basically has no reproductive value at this point. He has 5 gateways, and that's all of his production. And I mean, he's cranking out as many units as he can out of 5 gateways, but as many units as he can isn't a whole ton of units. He does have a Twilight Council coming up, but the game's going to be over before it finishes. And we see the GG getting dropped from Dirty Peasant as the last of his zealots get chewed up. So that game was one-sided as hell.
Yeah, it was super one-sided. Congrats, Jazzman, for excellent Terran play.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Good to see a Terran win every now and then.
Alright, guys. Well, my phone goes off because it wouldn't be a commentary. So, Kadoink, why don't you tell them where to find you while I go hang that up?
Yeah, you guys can check me out at youtube.com/user/kadoinkstudios or youtube.com/user/non-esportsofficial. I've been working a lot with the non-esports guys, and that's where the majority of my time and work is going, because I've been in school, and also I've been bummed about my computer having FPS problems lately. But still check me out. I have a lot of videos there, and I would enjoy it if you subscribed, commented, and liked the videos that I have. So thanks, guys.
Alright, and if you want to check out any other videos I've produced, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, if you would like any of your games commentated, you can send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Well, this is Boisterous.
This is Kadoink.
Signing out.